Grace in how you handle people and problems is one of the most magnetic things about a woman as she grows older, because it is not just about manners or being polite. It is about the way you carry yourself through situations that most people would either explode in or shrink back from. Grace is a calm strength, and that calmness is what makes people lean in and listen instead of stepping back. When you've lived long enough, you know life will throw challenges your way, and instead of reacting with panic, bitterness, or anger, you learn to step into them with a steadiness that says, I've been here before, and I know who I am. That's what makes people call you stunning, because grace is a rare quality, and when you show it, it sets you apart immediately. When you think of grace, don't confuse it with silence or passivity. Grace does not mean letting people walk over you or pretending problems don't exist. It means handling them without letting them define you or strip you of your dignity. It's saying what needs to be said in a way that keeps your power intact. For example, when someone disrespects you, grace is choosing not to meet them at their level, but instead answering with a confidence that sets a boundary and leaves no room for confusion. Grace is knowing when to speak, when to listen, and when to walk away without leaving chaos behind you. This is something that comes with time, because younger years are often filled with proving, reacting, and trying to control how others see you. But as you mature, you realize that not every battle deserves your energy, and not every comment deserves your response. That shift is powerful because when you are not dragged into every emotional storm, you save your energy for the things that actually matter. People notice that. They notice you don't flinch when things get messy. They notice how steady you are when everyone else is scrambling, and that makes you magnetic in a way makeup or fashion could never compete with. Grace also shows up in the way you carry yourself through conflict. Problems are unavoidable, but your response determines how others experience you. A woman who has grace doesn't shout to be heard. Her calmness commands the room. She doesn't humiliate others to make herself look bigger because she already knows her worth. That poise, that ability to stay collected under pressure, is a form of beauty that deepens with age. It's not surface level. It's not something you can fake. It comes from learning, failing, and growing through life's toughest seasons. Another part of grace is empathy. When you've lived enough life, you understand that everyone is carrying their own set of struggles. So instead of reacting harshly, you start to see beyond what someone says or does and recognize the pain or fear behind it. That doesn't mean you excuse bad behavior, but it does mean you can navigate it without losing yourself to bitterness. This blend of strength and compassion is rare, and it's exactly what makes people admire you more as the years go by. Even in how you carry yourself physically, grace has a role. It's not about looking younger, it's about how you move, how you walk into a room, how you treat the people around you, whether they're above you, beneath you, or beside you. When your actions show respect and calm assurance, it elevates your presence without you needing to say a word. People remember not just what you looked like, but how you made them feel, and grace always leaves them feeling safe, respected, and valued. What makes grace so stunning is that it's timeless. It never goes out of style. Trends fade, beauty standards change, but grace will always stand out because it is rooted in character, not appearance. A woman who leads with grace will still be captivating at 40, 60, 80 because her beauty comes from the inside out. It's the quiet strength, the patience in her voice, the steadiness in her eyes, the way she makes others feel calm even in chaos. Grace transforms how you are seen, but more importantly, it transforms how you see yourself. Confidence that doesn't need constant validation is one of the most powerful qualities a woman can carry into her older years because it shifts the way she moves through life and how others experience her presence. Real confidence isn't loud or showy. It doesn't need to announce itself or beg for approval. It simply exists. It's the quiet but unshakable belief that you know who you are, what you bring to the table, and that your value isn't up for debate. When you reach the point where you don't need someone else's opinion to confirm your worth, you radiate a strength that is deeply attractive and commands respect without effort. The reason this confidence stands out so much as you grow older is because life naturally tests you in countless ways. You've had to face rejection, failure, heartbreak, and disappointments, but each time you came out of it, you built another layer of resilience. That resilience becomes the foundation for confidence. It's no longer about hoping others notice you, it's about knowing you notice yourself. You see your own growth, and you no longer chase recognition from people who may not even value themselves. That inner security makes you magnetic because it is rare in a world where so many people are desperate for likes, approval, and external validation. Confidence like this shows up in subtle but powerful ways. It's in the way you walk into a room without shrinking yourself down to make others comfortable, but also without needing to dominate the space. It's in how you can have a conversation without constantly trying to prove your worth, because you already know it. It's in how you can say no without guilt, because your boundaries are not up for negotiation. These small but consistent signals tell people that you are someone who respects yourself, and that automatically makes them respect you more. Another part of confidence that doesn't need validation is the ability to celebrate others without feeling threatened. When you are secure in yourself, another person's success doesn't make you feel smaller. You can give compliments freely, you can acknowledge talent, beauty, or achievements without jealousy because you know none of it takes away from your own value. That generosity of spirit is stunning to witness because it shows maturity and strength. In contrast, insecurity shows itself in constant comparisons and quiet resentment, but real confidence silences that need to compete. This kind of confidence also changes the way you handle criticism. When you don't rely on external validation, someone's negative opinion of you doesn't cut as deep. You can listen to feedback without being defensive, and you can discard judgment that isn't useful without internalizing it. That makes you unshakable in situations where others would crumble. People are drawn to that stability because it feels like a grounding force, and that kind of stability becomes more attractive the older you get. Confidence that is self-sustaining also influences the way you present yourself. It's not about trying to dress like you're younger or chasing trends that don't fit your personality. It's about knowing your style, owning it, and wearing it with ease. It's about carrying your natural self without apology, whether that's embracing your laugh lines, your gray hair, or the wisdom in your eyes. When you accept yourself fully, you free others from the pressure to pretend, and that authenticity is captivating. What makes this type of confidence so stunning is that it is not conditional. It doesn't depend on who notices you, who compliments you, or who validates you. It's rooted in the deep knowledge that you have lived, you have overcome, and you are enough exactly as you are. That inner steadiness shines through every word you speak, every decision you make, and every room you enter. It creates a presence that others feel before they even know why, and it makes you unforgettable because you are not performing for approval. You are simply being yourself without apology. Kindness that has weight, not weakness, is one of the most powerful traits a woman can embody as she grows older because it redefines what it means to be strong. Too often, kindness is mistaken for softness or naivety. But the kind of kindness that makes a woman truly stunning is born from experience, from understanding how hard life can be, and still choosing to treat people with dignity. It's not the surface-level politeness that disappears the moment someone is rude. It's the steady choice to extend grace without losing your boundaries. That kind of kindness carries depth, and people feel it the moment they encounter you. When you've lived through enough seasons of life, you learn that cruelty never builds respect. Anger and bitterness may win short-term victories, but they don't leave lasting admiration. True admiration comes when people see you capable of defending yourself, of standing firm, but still choosing to lead with compassion. That balance is rare because it takes wisdom to show empathy without being taken advantage of. A woman who embodies this knows how to say no firmly, but she also knows how to say it with respect. She can disagree without demeaning. She can hold boundaries without hostility. That is kindness with weight, and it's unforgettable. This kind of kindness also comes from perspective. As you age, you see that everyone carries invisible battles, everyone has scars, and many people project pain because they don't know how else to cope. Instead of responding with judgment, you can respond with understanding, not to excuse their behavior, but to acknowledge their humanity. That shift changes how people experience you. They see strength in the way you don't match cruelty with cruelty, but also in the way you don't allow anyone to misuse your generosity. Your kindness has power because it is not rooted in fear, it is rooted in choice. Kindness with weight also shapes the way you influence others. Younger women look at you as an example, not because you let people walk over you, but because you show them what it looks like to lead with respect and still be unshakable. Colleagues, family, and even strangers feel it in your presence because you make them feel seen, not small. That impact lasts far longer than physical beauty ever could. It's the kind of presence that makes people remember you for how you made them feel, and that memory is what makes you stand out in any room. What truly makes this form of kindness stunning is that it doesn't fade with time. In fact, it grows stronger because it is shaped by life's hardest lessons. It is kindness that is no longer about being liked or accepted, but about choosing to live with dignity and integrity. It's a force that draws people in, not because you need their approval, but because they sense something rare in you, a kindness that cannot be shaken and a strength that does not need to shout. A style that fits who you are, not who you were, is one of the most defining qualities that makes a woman stunning as she grows older because it reflects authenticity. Style is never just about clothes, makeup, or accessories. It's about the way you express yourself without trying to become someone you used to be. When you reach a point in life where you stop chasing what's trending and start embracing what truly feels like you, your presence becomes magnetic. People notice when someone is at ease in their own skin, when their style is a reflection of confidence rather than a desperate attempt to impress. As time passes, many women feel pressured to hold on to youth by dressing or presenting themselves in ways that don't align with where they are in life. The irony is that the more you try to look younger, the more it highlights your insecurity. The opposite is also true. When you choose a style that celebrates the season you are in, it elevates you. Style that fits who you are is timeless because it's rooted in self-awareness. You know what works for your body, your energy, your personality, and you lean into it without apology. That alignment is what makes you stand out, not the label on your clothes or the price of your bag. This kind of style is also about consistency. It doesn't mean you never experiment or change, but the core of how you present yourself carries a recognizable signature. People start to associate your style with confidence because it isn't about copying anyone else. It's about owning what feels right for you, whether it's bold colors or neutrals, tailored or relaxed, minimal or detailed. Your choices reflect who you are today, not who you were trying to be 10 years ago. That self-honesty is captivating because it shows you are not living in the past, but fully embracing the present. Style goes beyond clothing. It is in the way you carry yourself, the tone of your voice, the way you make eye contact, and how you move through a room. You can wear something simple and still turn heads because your posture, your smile, and your calm energy speak louder than any outfit. The more you align your external style with your internal confidence, the more your presence grows. People remember not just what you wore, but how you wore it, how it matched the strength and steadiness you carry inside. What makes this quality so stunning is that it removes pressure. You are no longer chasing the impossible task of staying frozen in time. Instead, you allow yourself to grow, evolve, and show that beauty doesn't belong to any specific age. When your style reflects who you are now, it tells the world you are not afraid of change. You are not afraid of being seen as you are, and that fearlessness is more striking than any trend could ever be. It's the kind of beauty that deepens with age because it's built on authenticity, not imitation. Wisdom you actually live by, not just share, is what makes a woman unforgettable in her later years, because it shows that her life is not built on empty words, but on practiced truths. Wisdom is not about knowing a lot or quoting inspiring lines. It is about taking those lessons and embodying them in everyday life. People can sense when advice is theoretical and when it comes from lived experience. When you've walked through struggles, learned the hard way, and adjusted your choices because of it, your wisdom carries weight. It becomes something people can trust because they see it in how you live, not just in what you say. As you grow older, the difference between words and actions becomes more obvious. It's easy to give advice, to talk about patience, kindness, boundaries, or resilience, but it takes strength to actually practice them when life tests you. That's why people pay attention to a woman who doesn't just tell others to be calm under pressure, but remains calm herself when things don't go her way. They notice when you say, respect matters, and then treat people with respect, even when no one is watching. Living wisdom instead of preaching it is what gives your presence credibility, and credibility is magnetic. Wisdom in action is also shown in how you navigate relationships. Instead of repeating the same patterns, you use what you've learned to build healthier dynamics. You know when to walk away, when to forgive, when to give grace, and when to hold firm boundaries. Younger women notice this because they see in you an example of what maturity looks like. It's not about having the perfect life, it's about showing growth through every season. That lived wisdom becomes a gift you carry, not something you force on others, but something they pick up simply by watching you. Another way wisdom becomes stunning is through perspective. Life teaches you that not everything deserves your reaction, not every opinion matters, and not every conflict needs your attention. That perspective creates peace, and peace is rare. When people are around you, they feel that steadiness. They sense that you don't get shaken by the little things, and that calmness makes you stand out in a world full of chaos. It shows that your wisdom has been tested and proven, and that proof is what draws people toward you. What makes this kind of wisdom different is that it isn't performative. You're not living by principles because they sound good. You're living by them because you've seen what happens when you don't. You've experienced the cost of impatience, pride, anger, or insecurity, and you've chosen to grow from it instead of staying the same. That growth becomes visible in your actions, in your decisions, and in the way you carry yourself. And that visibility is what makes you stunning, because you are not just speaking wisdom, you are living proof of it. Energy that shows you still care about yourself is one of the most captivating traits a woman can carry into her older years because it signals vitality, presence, and self-respect. It's not about trying to act younger or pretending to be something you're not. It's about showing through your actions that you value your health, your passions, and your overall well-being. That kind of energy is magnetic because it tells people you are still invested in living, not just existing, and that makes your presence unforgettable. When you show that you care about yourself, it reflects in the way you move, the way you speak, and even the way you take up space. It doesn't mean you're always bubbly or endlessly energetic, but it does mean that your spirit feels alive. People can sense when someone has given up on themselves, and they can also sense when someone is still full of curiosity, joy, and self-respect. That difference changes everything about how others perceive you. Caring for yourself is not only physical, but emotional and mental. The energy of a woman who still reads, learns, grows, and challenges herself radiates a kind of beauty that no external feature can replace. When you have conversations that show depth, When you laugh easily, when you bring lightness into heavy spaces, that energy reminds people that age is not a barrier to being vibrant. It shows that you have not stopped engaging with life, and that spark is what people remember most. This energy also speaks to discipline and self-worth. When you take time to care for your body, your appearance, and your health, you're telling yourself and the world that you matter. That doesn't mean chasing perfection. It means honoring yourself enough to keep going, to keep showing up, to keep taking care of the woman in the mirror. That steady commitment becomes part of your aura, and it draws people in because they see strength, effort, and love for life. The stunning part of this energy is that it's contagious. When others are around you, they feel uplifted because your presence shows possibility. It shows that no matter what age you are, you can still glow, still inspire, still matter. That reminder is powerful, and it's exactly what makes you stand out.